from Hillbilly Crime. You can't hide from Hillbilly Crime. You may not know that there's a crew in town. The head hillbillies are making their rounds. Small town whispers loud and clear. The sheriff shot the judge in his chambers chair.
Sheriff got a secret he won't keep. Judge shot dead in his disbelief. A lot of people have some stories to tell. Dark passed away. Get the sound of a shotgun shell.
All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground, rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Neighbors hide behind their blinds. Whisper tales of troubled minds. Skeletons covering the mountainside. A treacherous reality in the pines.
Winter reveals the hidden lies. Moonlight couldn't mask their cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no disguise. All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground, rumors fly and they can't be
Winter reveals the hidden lies. Moonlight could mask their cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no disguise.
all the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground, rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Welcome to the StayHot Podcast. I am your host, Patrick Kelch, and I have a very special guest with me tonight. Special because my very first YouTube content creator I believe I ever watched on YouTube consistently. I watched her every single night, right around the time of the Judge Mullins, Sheriff Stines incident. So, with that being said, I will bring her up and I will introduce her. Maybe if my phone or my TV, maybe if I would quit, maybe it's my internet.
It happens. It happens, man.
I know, but I can't even, like, nothing's working on my end. So hopefully you're unmuted. I can hear.
Yeah, let me ask you, do you have a VPN on your computer?
I do not have a VPN.
Okay.
Not that I know of. Well, there we go. Maybe it's starting to. It could be. We're having some weather here too. It could be that. However,
If you got a whole bunch of stuff open, close it all out.
all right. Let me see here.
I had to close all my stuff out too.
I don't think I do, other than StreamYard, and I just closed out YouTube channel. So let's get this going here and hold on here. I got faith in it. It'll work.
It's all right. Everybody's noticing my Halloween decorations. Look out.
Uh-huh.
I figured since I took my curtains down and I washed them and I got me a few decorations, got me a skeleton, got me some pillows.
I'm going to refresh real quick.
Go right ahead, darling. We are OGs in this very, very issue, are we not, y'all? We had the this very problem freezing up, and I found that okay. Are you using Chrome?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. You need to switch over to Edge.
All right. Hold on a minute. We'll try to do two things at once here.
Yep, that's exactly it. Chrome does not work with StreamYard at all. And
I've never had an issue when it was just me, though. I mean,
well,
but
you will.
we may be trying to do too much here.
Yeah. We learned, didn't we, y'all? We went through a whole year of this very same thing. It was miserable. We thought people were trying to block my channel. We thought people were, out to get Hillbilly Crime. No. I knew it wasn't that. But I couldn't figure out what the problem was. Could not figure it out. I did everything. I went out and bought me a brand new computer. I went out and everything except for switching to Starlink. And that was my next thing, was I was going to switch my internet provider. I just did not know what it was. And it was something as simple as switching from Chrome, your Chrome browser, just for any content creators out there, anybody who uses StreamYard for anything, Chrome browser is not compatible with StreamYard. You've got to go with Edge. He'll be back on here in just a second. Edge works much better, and you can't have a VPN hooked up. Facebook, you can't post on Facebook if you've got a VPN hooked up, or at least I can't. Very interesting. I have learned so much. I've often thought about you're a hillbilly if you wear your jamming to the dollar store. Well, what about if you are you a hillbilly if you wear dollar store jammies? Aha. I was at the southern coast of Oregon. Yes, using a VPN is not compatible with a whole lot of platforms now. Yes, I have good internet connection otherwise. So whenever I figured it out that it was just as simple as the browser that I used, I didn't need, here he comes, look out.
Well, I'm still on Chrome because when I logged in with Edge, the live recording that I had set up for this wasn't there. Like there was nothing for me to join, but it seems like it may be working now. Let's hope.
Well, future reference, try to start out on Edge. Because I bring mommy in. My mommy's my co-host. Listen, we went through it for an entire year before I finally figured it out. And it was such a simple fix.
Well, I'm hoping, I'm glad you said that now because I'll know the next time, and I'll probably just go ahead and start setting them up in Edge.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I've got it. But it seems like I'll have to have everything loaded over to
And
Edge from
that's,
Chrome, which could be a problem because I got a lot of stuff.
I don't think it should, you shouldn't have to do that because I didn't have to do that.
Okay,
You might just have to, it may have logged you into StreamYard, in like a, not under your account. Who
okay.
knows?
Well, yeah,
Who
maybe
knows?
when I play with it.
You'll
But
figure it out.
guys, it wouldn't be us if we didn't have technical difficulties. That's just the way we work here. That's the way we roll. We just always fight through it. But
That's right.
just for welcoming Elizabeth, we'll throw a little party. We'll have some confetti. We'll even pop a little bit of the bubbly. Um
Woo!
we'll go from there. But tonight, I've kind of prepped the last 2 weeks of my show that you were coming on tonight, so they all know that. However, we're switching from the basketball court to the courthouse, which I needed a much deserved break from the basketball court. Things are getting a little out of hand with the eligibility rules, and basically it's like free agency now. So we've covered it for like 3 weeks straight, and I had nothing else to talk about. So we had a talk one night about our about just true crime in general, and we focused on true crime in Kentucky. And a lot of people in the chat seemed like they had some interest, and a couple of them even said, well, you should do a true crime show. And I thought,
Yeah.
well, I know the right person to ask because I know who I started watching the first. And when I started watching you, you didn't have the 27,000 followers. You have grown. You have hit the big time. I will tell you this: your shows with Gavin are fun to watch. I enjoy watching, and I it kind of makes me feel like when I put up the graphic today, I had several people reach out to me and said, "I bet you're happy," and I didn't really know what they were talking about at the time, and I was like, "What do you mean?" It's like, "You got Hillbilly Crime coming on tonight." Like they know that I watch Hillbilly Crime, so
Yeah.
I know a lot about Letcher County. I actually had one of my best friends from college was from Whitesburg. Um, his last name was Ison, Ison. I don't know how popular that name is down there, but I
Yeah.
still talk to him a lot today. But if um, if you're here from my chat, I've linked Hillbilly Crime YouTube channel in the chat. Please go give her a subscribe. She's doing the Lord's work out there, covering a lot of these cases that a lot of the mainstream media won't even touch. She's actually have tried to be silenced multiple times for the work that she's doing. First Amendment rights have probably been infringed upon. Wasn't even allowed to show up at her son's athletic events and take pictures. The first time I'd ever seen anything like a school refusing money for sponsorship. Schools are usually dying for money. So, Elizabeth, thank you for being on. Thanks for giving us your time, and I
Yeah,
appreciate
man.
having you.
Thanks for having me, honey. I'm looking forward to it. My kids are ball players. They're athletes. 15 and 16 now. And we just went through our own struggle. So my youngest, both of them, I held them back. Both my kids, I held them back in first grade because neither one of them could read coming out of first grade. And one of the teachers told me that first grade year, if you're ever going to hold them back, you need to hold them back in first grade because that's where they learn to read for skill. And if they don't have that skill down, when they go on to second grade and they're learning to read for information, they never catch up. And she said, even all the way through high school, they just struggle for the rest of the time. So I held both of them back in first grade. Well, then third grade, COVID hit. And they were offering the COVID do-over year. Well, they swore up and down that it would not affect my kids come time, for 8th grade and senior year. Bullshit. Forgive me, but
I
bullshit.
followed this story and I couldn't believe what I was reading.
Well, if we had never tried, Alan wouldn't shut up about it. He just kept on. He wanted to play football. And we don't have a football team.
Right.
So
Neither did my high school. So
he wanted to transfer over to Neon. So he just wouldn't shut up about it. And I tried and tried to, put it off and put it off and put it off. But so finally I went over there and tried, and we had all that big fuss. They denied us, said we couldn't come. So I went over their head, got him able to come, go over there to register him, have a big old blow up with the principal, and then show up at practice that night and find out he's too old to play football. Are you joking? After everything we just went through, he's been playing all this time. And they were like, oh yeah, about that. So now his entire 8th grade year is gone. He can't play anything.
And, I'm a school teacher. I coach high school girls basketball. I'm the varsity coach. And, when I try to make decisions, I look at how is this going to affect the kid?
Yeah.
Nobody else. Not their mom, not their dad, not their aunt, their uncle, not me. And they've done nothing in that situation but hurt the one that matters most. The kid.
Kids.
Why isn't the kid in the forefront of those decisions?
Well, you know how many kids that's going to affect? I'm sure that my kids aren't the only ones. Somebody said, well, if you hadn't have tried to transfer, they wouldn't probably ever have even caught it, and he would have been able to keep playing and nobody would have caught it. That's if nobody would have caught it. But, my luck ain't that good.
Well, and that's the thing, though. And it's kind of like when I told you backstage that I was kind of tired of talking about some of the basketball stuff, because that's kind of what's going on in college now. Not necessarily the COVID year, but there's a group of, there's a class that the classes before them all got 5 years. The classes after them will all have 5 years to play. And then the class that are suing the like NCAA and things only had 4, but they're the only class that's not getting that 5 years.
Yeah.
So they look like, well, they've been cheated, or they've been screwed out of a season or whatever. But I know a lot of people in this area that use that COVID year, and I don't know how it could affect him in middle school. I mean, I guess there is an age out, but everything here was like if you were only going to turn 19 by a certain age,
That's it.
August. I just, I hate that for your child, because he's the one ultimately that's suffering.
His senior year will be gone too.
Right.
He won't be able to play his senior. So it's his 8th grade and his senior year. Both are gone. And it's not just one, it's both of them.
And so I'm assuming he's back at Jenkins now.
Yeah.
I remember the likes of Whitney Creech.
Yeah.
I'm a girls basketball coach.
Oh yeah.
But
did y'all ever play Jenkins?
No, but I was at a Class A school. We just never seemed to, cross paths. We could have. I'm at a 2A school now, but let me ask you this: can he play high school at Jenkins this year as an 8th grader?
Yeah, he has to play up, so he does get to play. It just sucks that 8th grade year, because he's played since 3rd grade for the middle school team, and so he's played through D team, C team, B team, and last year he played on A team, but 8th graders got that top spot. So this year was his year. Right. For that 8th grade year. And it just sucks that we don't get it, because now he has to go right on up to the high school team, and he never gets to be that top dog.
The big dog. Yeah, you go from 6th, 7th grade of being the little man on campus to the 8th grader as a high schooler, and you're still little man on campus.
Yeah.
It's kind of a sucky situation.
Yeah. It just sucks, but
it does. But
oh well.
I followed your show enough to know that you're a firm believer in the Lord, and that all things happen for a reason. And, thou that does not kill us only makes us stronger. So he's probably going to be better off in the long run, but it's still hard to convince an 8th grader.
Yeah,
at this
that's
time.
exactly right. Yeah.
But and I hate that for him. But it's
He took it better than I did.
well, it just seems like somewhere along the lines, you all may have been told some wrong information.
Well, I don't think I think that where I held them back in first grade. See, if I had not held them back in that first grade year, then that COVID do over year wouldn't have affected them. And I think maybe whenever we were talking about it during COVID, um, and they were trying to get us, because we were approached about the COVID do over year. It wasn't like I went looking for it and saying, hey, I want to hold my kids back. No, the school was saying, hey, we're offering this. And, we recommend anybody that, feels like they didn't learn that you do it. It's not going to affect you. And so maybe that was my mistake, that I know that I told them, well, they've already been held back once, because they were playing ball then.
Right.
They were just starting, but on the middle school team, but we'd already played through Pee Wee and all of that. But being a ball mom has been the best part of my life.
Well,
Living vicariously through my kids, doing something that I was never able to do because we didn't live in a stable enough home. It's just the most amazing thing as a parent now.
well, and a lot of people are living through your lens too. For the pictures you take, I see the pictures you take. You take pictures not only of your children, but
Yeah.
everybody's children, even some random people in the crowd every once in a while that may end up getting you in trouble. They just happen to be, they just randomly chose to sit right there in your path. I'm not 100% sure how that all happens, but in a gym that big with that many open seats, not for sure. But with that being said, Crystal says on a positive note, he'll get to learn so much from high school, and I believe that to a degree until. It's funny because I had a really good high school girls basketball player as a seventh grader, and her parents would let her play high school, but she wasn't allowed to ride the bus because they didn't want her to learn all the wrong things on the bus from the high school kids. So as far as on the court and things, which boys may be different, I'm not so sure what boys talk about on the bus, but I feel like girls probably have different conversations on the bus than what the boys have. But I haven't raised any boys. I have 3 daughters, so but. I feel like Crystal's been a mod for you forever. Like I remember, but I've also seen her. She's a mod in another channel I've watched recently, and I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, her and Marnie both have been with me for a long time. And that, I don't know if I feel like that's pretty rare. Is that pretty rare to have the same mods on a channel for a long period of time?
Well, I can just tell you, I don't even know how to do mods. I don't have any mods. I don't know the purpose of mods. I don't even know what mods can do or what they bring. I'm not opposed to mods once I figure it out, but I just know from watching other channels and stuff, it seems like they either add more mods, is it unlimited? Can you have as many moderators as you want?
Yeah, you can. It gets a little confusing if you get a whole big bunch
I would
of
say
them.
what you have is rare because I noticed there's a lot of different names and things on the mods of the shows I watch. Now, a lot of the shows and content creators I watch, of course, I watch you. I love the Kentucky connection, just because I feel like although I'm probably about 3 hours from you, and we probably have different cultures. Although we're in the same state, I still feel like that I feel like, you talk about, like the other day when you talked about the Nicholas County crash. One of the boys that were killed, I taught. I taught him. He didn't go to Nicholas County. He went to Robertson County where I worked. And so I was familiar with him. And I just saw recently where they came down with the sentence and he was found, guilty, which and I don't know how much more you plan on doing covering that case or not, but
I do. Yeah, we are.
I just, the thing that got me was, and I didn't know that till recently, and it may have been one of your posts, that one of the law enforcement officers had stopped him earlier that night and let him go. So my question is, are there any repercussions for the law enforcement officer? Are there any, that's the questions I have. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
he let him go, and then this happens. Yeah, he was found guilty of 2 counts of murder, I believe. But what about the law enforcement officer that had an opportunity to? Would it take the families of the deceased filing a civil suit, or I mean, I don't know. What happens next?
That case is getting real nasty too out in social media and in the community because they're blaming the victims a lot in that
How,
case.
how could they blame them? Well, and I also saw that the driver, the one that was just convicted, he
Hmm.
tried to blame it on the kid that I knew, saying he was the driver.
Hmm.
And
They,
then in
hmm.
court, I read about it. Of course, I would have loved to have watched something like that, but Carlisle doesn't have access to
Streaming.
stream those. But they said there was multiple witnesses that said that no, that boy was driving, the boy that they convicted.
But all I have to do is put in a public records request and ask for a copy of the trial, and they'll give me a copy of the trial.
So have you had pretty good luck with the FOIA request?
I have I've just recently really learned how to do them. I've had more luck with away from, well, no, I've had a lot of luck. Yeah. The the stuff that I didn't do was my own fear, stuff that was holding me back, my own procrastination because I was afraid. It was something that I hadn't really done before. I had put a few in before and gotten denied, and so I was like, "Why am I going to put in all this work? Because it's
Well,
a lot of work."
I was watching. Of course, I don't know if you followed the Karen Reed trial out of Boston,
Yes.
Massachusetts. After, of course, I didn't get to see the first trial. I don't know if I came on to the scene I saw all the second trial, and I follow all the people. Like, I know more about Canton and Boston, Massachusetts, than I know about my own county. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And but there's some content creators that sole purpose, to help, like, they file the FOIA request and they say there's like a specific way you have to do it in order
Yeah.
to be granted, but then they're charging so much per page. And some of these
Yep.
Karen Reed FOIA requests with emails and all that stuff was like, some of them was well over $100. Some of them were like $300 because there were so many pages, graphics, everything.
Yep.
Um,
It gets expensive. I just ordered 2 cases. I got 2 trials, local trials, the Bill Meade trial and the
mhm.
James Huffman trial, and it was almost $200.
Well, I've been following you on the Bill Meade trial, and I had somebody in my chat last week talk about the Doug Harless out of London.
Yep.
We were talking about that last week, and
Yep.
but there just seems to be a lot of stuff going on in Kentucky, and the more and more I watch content creators, and I don't want to be this way, but it just seems like everywhere they have kind of like corrupt, like the higher up you go, the more corrupt it is. Like, for example, like with the Mickey Stines and Judge Mullins case, a lot of these people probably wouldn't know a lot about like Ben Fields and, all that part and how it's connected or whatever. But, I showed them the video to what I could find on YouTube last week about, with Sheriff Stines going into the judge's chambers and how, 9 different times or whatever. And
Yep.
the question I was asking them was, like, how can that happen 9 times and there be very little blood? And a couple of guys in the chat that are familiar with firearms, I think,
Mhm.
they said it's possible. I just thought that something seemed I don't know, something just seemed strange about that whole incident. But take us back to, I've told them, like, that day you were on the scene. You were at the courthouse that day.
Well, I went down there after.
Right, that's what
the
I mean, like
shooting
after it
happened.
happened.
Yep.
You weren't actually in
Mhm.
the courthouse when it happened, right?
Yeah.
So just give us kind of an overview of like what that day was like. Not necessarily for you, but like how it started and like I'd heard something about those two guys went to lunch together. They
Mm-hmm.
walked to lunch together, walked back from lunch together. Like, give us just a short, brief overview of just kind of how that day went for those two gentlemen.
Well, so this kind of goes back a few days before the shooting. 3 days before the shooting, Mickey Stines, the sheriff, had sat for a deposition that he had to sit for this deposition. He was the sheriff, and one of his deputies had been accused of messing with the women on house arrest, messing with their ankle monitors, trading smecks for favor or freedom for favors. And he pled guilty, so he was convicted of it. But the girl sued the sheriff's department, and she sued the ankle monitor company. And so Mickey had to sit in that deposition for that. Well, there was a whole lot. It appears now that around that time there were also a lot of threats that were going on, because Mickey had worked as the bailiff for Judge Mullins for 10 years before he ever went to become sheriff. And when he became sheriff, they pulled that Ben Fields from the jail, the deputy underneath Mickey. They pulled him from the jail to become the judge's new bailiff. Well, I think this is just me, but I think that Ben Fields saw what everybody else was doing, and he was doing it too. He had been doing it too himself while he was working at the jail. And so as he comes up to bailiff, everybody's life is good. Everybody's getting promotions. Everybody's, just doing whatever they please, running that jail like a smack dungeon.
Like a brothel.
Well, you've got two different sides of it. You've got women that were coming in, doing it right in the judge's chambers for whatever reason, to get rid of a charge, or maybe somebody owed I don't know if they could do it with child support, because that's money. You got to be able to show a receipt there. So I don't know about that, but who knows how they're doing it. But nonetheless, all of this was going on. And so Mickey goes and sits for this deposition, and he's just batshit crazy by then. He's not sleeping. He's getting threats, not to talk, not to say anything. So this morning on the 19th, they all go to work. They go to lunch together. Everything's fine. After lunch, Mickey goes on a food run with the preacher man, who we know
all about the preacher man,
works in the judge's courtroom, sending people to rehab. So he was the rehab coordinator that would find these girls beds in rehab. And the deputy wasn't the only one doing this. This was, from what I understand, this kind of thing, it was a culture in the courthouse,
right?
So anyway, they go off to deliver some meals, and while they're gone, Mickey's not slept in 7 days. He's very paranoid. Everybody says that he had been acting really strange for about 3 weeks leading up to this. And he gets afraid because people are trying to get him on a side-by-side to go up in the mountain when he goes to deliver these meals. So he gets all scared and freaks out, and they all go back. Him and the preacher man goes back to the courthouse. And that is when you see Mickey come in and confront the judge.
So
now,
who was in the judge's chambers that he asked to leave?
I
remember seeing the depositions of those 3 people.
Those were the other rehab people. One of the women, the woman that was sitting up in the windowsill with the green dress on, you also saw her take off running down the sidewalk in some of the video. She was Judge Mullins. She was a woman that worked in the courtroom for Judge Mullins. He did not have a secretary, though. He used to a long time ago. And then she got sick and she went off on medical leave, and she never did come back. And he never did get another secretary after she was gone either. And that kind of also opened that door a little bit wider for what was alleged to have been going on. He didn't have a female secretary there, to witness it all. But I think if they were to get some of these people who have witnessed it over the years, like, they need to interview his old secretary. She was there long enough.
Would they speak though? Or I know if they're subpoenaed, or but would they tell the truth? I mean,
yeah, you're right. I don't know.
Were they? I mean, obviously, if they
know.
worked for Judge Mullins, they're probably going to be partial to Judge Mullins, and it just totally, like, I've watched some other channels where some of the women supposedly who were victims of Judge Mullins or the courthouse scam or whatever was going on in there, I've heard some of them talk, and I mean, they swear by it. Like, they swear it happened to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I don't know.
We have a video. Do you want to see it?
If it'll play without being choppy because I'm on Chrome. But yeah,
That's not, well, yeah, you're right. That I wondered why that song was choppy like that. The intro
it
song.
might have been on Chrome.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why. Yep, that's why. So that's all right. We're going to be playing a lot of this older stuff on my show.
Right, and I've kind of pointed them to your page the last few weeks, and
thanks.
I know we do have some that are interested in it just because it's Kentucky, and I don't see the guy yet. Wildcat Keeper. I think he may live in Idaho now. I'm not for sure where he's from in Kentucky. He may live in Idaho now, but I remember him telling me last week that he knew your podcast. So, yeah, it's but another thing with that whole incident was, did they ever, of course, there was speculations ran rampant after this happened. You saw when Mickey was taken down by the cops, some people say paranoid, some people say psychosis, whatever. That's beside the point. But what is their reasoning now for why all this happened? You heard everything about Mickey's daughter was involved, all that. I mean, I've heard everything. Do they have a reason why this took place?
Well, the daughter and the wife have come out and said no, that they did not have any relationship. Neither one of them did. The wife or the daughter had any relationship with the judge. So I think it was his reputation that's what created that rumor. That's what everybody jumped to, that conclusion, because I think all of us wanted to find a reason, like, why did Mickey do this? Why would he throw everything away and do this? And the only thing that makes sense in a lot of people's minds is if something like that was to have happened. And with his reputation, I just think that that's why everybody jumped to that conclusion. But they have said no, that's not true. Now, I don't believe that Mickey shot him for any kind of moral stand. I do not believe that Mickey just couldn't take all the corruption anymore and just snapped. I don't believe that. I believe that the threats absolutely factored into it. I think that he was afraid of, not just physically afraid for their lives, which I'm sure he was, but I also think that he was afraid of losing his social status and his, the image of Mickey Stines. I think that he had an idea or a preconceived notion of what being sheriff was going to be. And he basically told me this personally in not so many words, because I knew both of these men.
Right.
The last time I had spoken to him was at the sheriff's department, and he was getting ready to not run again, in the next election. He was not running. He was backing out. So, he didn't have any reason to stay. Like, why did he do this? Well, his wife just recently, within the last 2 weeks, has come out with a couple TikTok videos. And she has said, what if? Or she has asked the question, what if? What if everybody knew? What if he tried to report this, or tried to report the judge? And what if the person that he tried to report the judge to then turned around and went back and told the judge that Mickey reported him? And I think that these are all things that have happened, but I think because of the trial, she has to be really careful about how she says things and what she says. But I think that it shows that there's not a lot of confidence that the truth is going to come out.
Well, and I saw the TikTok. I don't have TikTok, but I saw it somewhere. I don't know if somebody shared it or whatever. And I was kind of hanging on by each slide because of the what ifs. And, and it makes me think that, there's people out there that know. I mean, there has to. But I just can't fathom how anywhere in I know they've requested a change of venue.
Yes.
I can't fathom in my mind anywhere in the state of Kentucky that's not heard of this case, or that, and I know Mickey, they're worried about a fair trial. I think it works both ways. There may be somebody out there that appreciates what Mickey done. If they thought Mickey, I've seen some people say Mickey was a hero, for pretty well stopping all this stuff that was going on in the courthouse. Obviously I wish he wouldn't have done it the way he did, but, if there's somebody on that jury that looks at him as a hero, then that fair trial works both ways. Have they decided where?
Not yet. That's jury nullification that you're talking about there. And I think that is exactly what the prosecution is afraid of. They're afraid that if they keep that trial here in Letcher County, there is a lot. They've already described to the judge that it was pretty much immediate Team Mickey and Team Judge.
Right.
And I think that's pretty much true. I think there's a whole lot of truth in that. I wasn't too keen about them taking it out of Letcher County just because I think that they could have found an impartial jury here. But I think that they should have at least tried, try to seat a jury. And then if you can't, that's what the voir dire jury selection process is for. If you can't seat a jury, then go outside of it. I mean, it's not like we're not 2 years out anyway, So if somebody was to try and say, oh, well, that'd take too much time, I think that's a big bunch of BS.
Well, and I'm wondering, there's a case I was watching. It was out of state. Don't even remember the state, but they were got a change of venue was requested, and it was granted. But they were going to pick the jury from the town that it was moving out of, like where the crime happened was where the jury was going to be picked from. But yet the trial was going to be moved to another county.
Yeah.
So are they going to pick a jury? Are they I know that I saw somewhere or read somewhere that one of the I guess popular places could potentially be Bowling Green.
Yeah.
Will they pick a trial from Owensboro?
Wherever they have this trial, the all of the witnesses have to travel there.
Probably on their own dime too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Bowling Green is 4.5 hours away, and Owensboro is farther away than that. And the defense said in their motion that they're planning on calling 49 witnesses or something like that. So you're going to have all those people that are going to be subpoenaed probably, so they'll have to go. How do you get there if you don't? how do you get there if you don't have a car?
Well, maybe carpool. I don't know. I mean,
Right.
but I, I often wondered, like in these cases to where, out of state people, they subpoena and things and, they got to fly in. What if those people don't have the financial means to fly in? What happens? I mean,
Yeah.
but
So we even in the law, I was surprised. I was hoping that there would be some language in the law that would help the defense keep it closer to home. And I was actually surprised at the amount of language that's actually in the law that that supports them keeping it closer to home. They have suggested Pike County. They've
yeah,
suggested Harlan. They've suggested somebody else. I forget which other one. But even if they were to go, Perry. But even
oh,
if they
okay,
were to go just a little bit further, like Floyd County, Floyd County, Judge Mullins was a special judge in Floyd County. He went anytime that they needed a special judge for something, he would go over there and have court in Floyd County sometimes. So I think that that would be a close enough one county that
well,
they
I
could
even
do it
think
in possibly
Pikeville.
in Floyd County.
Yeah, and I even think Pikeville. I mean,
Yeah, Pike is
I mean,
right next to us. They said it in the language in the law said it needed to be an adjacent county. Well, isn't that what that means?
yeah,
Adjacent,
Jason means next door.
right? So
Well, and I'll be honest with you, like it's been kind of hard. I'm thinking that, and I'm hoping that I feel like Court TV or somebody will pick this up. Um, it made national news when it happened. I mean, I've heard Vinnie Politan. I mean, did you go on Vinnie
mhm,
Politan? I thought
several
you did.
times.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I thought you were on Court TV and Vinnie Politan. Yeah, but like they picked it up, so I mean, I'm thinking it's possible that somebody picks it up, which I hope they do because I think a lot of eyes in Kentucky would be on that case.
Oh yeah,
However, driving to Bowling Green
yeah,
isn't feasible for everybody. Um,
yeah.
but so when Mickey was obviously arrested and he was taken down, and you saw him question, or the cops were questioning him and asking him why, and he was pretty quiet. He didn't say a whole lot. They're trying to take him to the Sally Port to get the vehicle, and he said, if you take me out of here or whatever, I'm never going to make it out of here alive. Do you feel like, I've seen some people just recently say that's an act, or do you really think he was paranoid or was psychosis? How do you feel like right now, knowing everything that you know? Because obviously our opinions could change from what happened that day till now with the more information that's come out.
Yeah, I'm the waffle queen, honey.
Uh,
Waffle queen. One day I think one way, and the next day I think something different. So I got you on that.
I,
I think that the lack of sleep. If you really,
I
if
heard
any
his
of you,
aunt, wasn't it his aunt that came in and testified?
yeah,
Okay.
he hadn't slept in 7 days. He was in pure insomnia by that. If any of you have stayed up for days, I do it sometimes working. I'll be sitting here and I'll work straight through the night, and come morning, I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm just so tired. My eyes are crossing, but I've got so much work to do, I can't stop. But there comes a time that you get like a second wind or something. Or I do. I don't know how, but you kind of cross this threshold where you kind of get this second wind, and all of that eye crossing and
Right.
being so sleepy I can't stand it. I come, and there's been times where 2 days without sleep and I was functioning. You get on that third day, and the more that you're awake, then the harder it is to actually lay down. So I've been there myself. Um, I don't know about the psychosis part of it, but have you ever seen somebody on that was having a meth induced
No,
psychosis out in
I,
community or anything?
not that I recall,
No.
but it seemed like even though those law enforcement officers, he worked with, he knew, I don't know how many times I heard him say, "Come on, Mickey, you know me," and but it's like he didn't trust them.
Well, that's what my show's going to be about tonight.
Okay.
Is that right there? So, was Mickey not? Was he? So, who did he tell? His wife is saying that he reported the judge. Who would he have reported it to? Could he have reported it to the state police, and then they betrayed him and went back and told the judge that he reported him? And then would that be a reason enough for him to then mistrust the state police after he shot him? It makes sense to me.
It does. I just, I was sitting there thinking as you were talking, and I can't tell you the last time I was able to stay up 24 hours straight, let alone 7 days.
Oh yeah, no.
Like, I couldn't imagine how he was functioning. Um, you mentioned earlier about him telling you straight point blank that he wasn't going to run for sheriff. Was
Mhm.
that because of all this?
Well, he hadn't. He didn't come out and say that. I didn't know about all of this. I did not know about the Benfield stuff. See, he knew about all of this at the time that I asked him that, but I didn't know about it. So I think, yeah, it was because of all of this, but I didn't have any idea that that's what was going on. You know.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that Ben had even pled guilty. I didn't know that there was even a deputy down there that had done that. I didn't know about the accusations. I didn't know about none of it. And probably about 95% of my viewers who have responded to me, because I've asked them
Right.
if they knew about the Benfields case before Mickey shot Kevin. And it happened 2 years before, and they all said no. About 95% of them said no.
That's
That
just
they
kind of hard for me to believe that something was that so, so many people knew, but yet it was so quiet.
There was one article in the newspaper about it, I think. And then, there may have been one or two stories on one of the local news stations, but that was it. They didn't. So they can say, well, there was reporting done on it. Well, yeah, one or two pieces, and then it wasn't ever circulated again.
So is Ben out yet?
Oh yeah, he
That's why
only
I say
got.
it was only 6 months, right?
Yeah, and he served that 6 months in the basement of the courthouse with Judge Mullins upstairs. So Judge Mullins was still alive when he served his 6 months. His wife got a promotion to go up and work in Judge Mullins's courtroom while Ben was serving his 6 months. I think that was the quid pro quo. You keep your mouth shut, and we'll
Sure.
take care of you while you do your time.
Sure. And it would be great. It would be great to be able to get a FOIA request of have all those conversations on their phones.
Oh,
But it seems
I don't know how to do that.
well, I don't think it would have to been investigated. Did they take
Right.
any of them's phones? I mean, did they investigate this other than
No.
no? Obviously, there's video evidence that Mickey's guilty. I don't think that's even a question. We saw it happen, but they've
Yeah.
not investigated the why.
No.
You know,
They're
like
relying on that video.
right in the video. I mean, it's damning. I mean, there's no question to ask. But I think I'd want to know the underlying causes of two guys that were supposedly friends, had went to lunch together,
Mhm.
had worked together for several years. Like,
Yeah.
why all of a sudden did this happen? But there was a guy on my show Have you ever heard of the pink flamingo?
Yeah.
Well, he was talking about it. He acted kind of like it was kind of like a. I think he had kind of mentioned that in his eyes it was kind of like a brothel up on top of a hill or something. That he
Yeah.
was kind of familiar with parties and so forth of things that went on in the Pink Flamingo.
Yeah, my mommy said she saw a lot of naked butts of her at the Pink Flamingo. It's a big little body of water up on the top of the mountain, and it's kind of like a little tiny private, li- like a little private campground. I would love to own that, man. Gosh,
So where are we at with the, like? I know there's been motions and hearings, and when are they looking at trial?
I don't even know. I
It's
couldn't tell
probably
you.
still a while off.
Yeah, they're getting ready to fight now over this change of venue. So even though he's granted it, he has left it up to the prosecutor and the defense to hammer it out where it's going to be. And so it's not surprising that they disagree. So I think what's going to end up happening is the judge will have another hearing, and so they'll go in and he will hear their arguments over it, and then he'll choose.
Which I was kind of shocked after watching your video that you did. You kind of put the pieces together, made it easy for me to follow since I don't know all these people that are involved. But like, and maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist to some degree, but I feel like the judge, even though the videos didn't really show him and Kevin really conversing a lot, or I know they sat next to each other, things like that, and didn't really show much interaction. I still feel like that's a conflict of interest, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that all judges are going to know each other in that area because of all these meetings that judges have to attend. And I mean, did you feel like he should have had to step down? Do you feel like he's okay to try that case? I mean,
The part that I thought that it would have been no big deal if all he had to do was disclose it. Like when the trial happened, or whenever he was picked to be the judge, all he would have had to have done was say, "Hey, I just saw him 2 weeks ago, y'all. We were just at this judge's conference, this judicial conference. So I want to make sure that we go ahead and put that up on the record now." If he would have come out and done it like that, there would not have been one question. I don't
yeah,
think.
because he would have got out in front of it instead of making, not saying nothing. Well, then it makes it look like
You're hiding
he's
something.
hiding something because he knew it but didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah.
on, you mentioned talking about Mickey's wife and daughter, and Mickey's wife doing the most recent TikToks, and the what if.
Mhm.
But what about Kevin's side?
They're
Are they
very
are they being
quiet.
quiet? Okay.
They're very quiet. His wife left here, I think, and I think she went to Lexington or Louisville or somewhere like that. And I don't know about the rest of the family. Let's see, I think he's got a sister that still lives here. There's a lot of family, but it's extended family. It's in-laws. It's the wife's family that all live here. Kevin really didn't have a whole lot of immediate family, but you better believe they sure held a lot of power. They still do. That's basically all of our school board is
Oh,
related somehow. That's why I think I got such
I was just say you've been blackballed.
trouble.
Big. Well, I mean, but I've
Mm.
also heard some of your shows where I felt like you were very. I mean, I feel like all your shows are fair. I feel like you're reporting on what you find is,
It
you
don't
know,
matter. It
I
doesn't
know,
matter to
I
them.
get it, but
If I even speak on something that they haven't given their approval for, and that's any of them, any of the people that are in those circles of power, like they could have been my friend. They could have been my friend 10 years ago whenever I was trying like hell to break into those circles down there. But they didn't want to be my friend. I was a threat somehow, to
Well,
somebody, and all it takes is getting on one person's bad side, or one person blacklists you, and the next thing you know, all of their buddies will follow suit. And so before you know it, nobody will touch you with a 10-foot pole when it comes to, hiring you, or sitting next to you at a ball game, or, anything like that. They will. And since I've started the Hillbilly Crime, which whenever I started this, I kind of knew it. I knew what I was getting myself into, but none of those people were my friend in the first place, right? They rejected me 10 years ago. So now, why do I care what they think about me building my business? So now when they have a problem with it, I'm like, you had your chance to be my friend 10 years ago, and this totally would not be happening now.
well, and but you think about this: when you've got a group that's tight knit, they don't want to bring somebody from the outside into that circle, because if you come into that circle and you're by the book and you're going to do what's right,
Yeah.
they don't want you in that circle. You are a threat to them, you know. But with that being said, I'm surprised, because I know I can relate to the size of Jenkins, because I live in a town probably smaller than Jenkins. I mean, we don't even have a stoplight in my town. But it's kind of like, it's almost admirable that, knowing the flack you're going to catch being in such a small town, that you still do it. It would be easy, because I mean, I've read the Speak Your Piece. I've read I've read some of the comments on Facebook directed towards you, and directed towards, Hillbilly Crime. And it's all because you're ruffling their feathers, because you're talking about the things that nobody else wants to talk about.
Yeah.
You're talking about the things that they don't want nobody else talking about. And, and I'll be honest with you, what really got me was the little boy that, that you knew, that would go around take pictures and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
When they started mistreating him, and of course, I don't know him. I don't know what his story is, but, I'm a school teacher. I'm in an alternative setting now where I work with kids that are in the court system, or, the ankle monitor deal, or I've worked with kids with severe special needs. I've worked with kids that, just have learning disabilities. But I've learned over the years to become an advocate for those kids who don't have a voice themselves. And I felt so bad for that kid. Like,
Yeah,
I just
he's
felt
had
so
a rough
bad for him.
time. He's had a rough time. He got pushed into homeschool, and he's not really homeschooled. He's homebound. He told me there is a difference, because
There is.
I said home that he was homeschooled, and he was like, no. He was like, you
Well,
don't understand. He said they pushed me out of school and made me go homebound,
what
because
homebound
he
is,
don't.
basically the school still has to provide him services and has to give
Yeah,
him his work and stuff. Homeschool basically is his, homebound, the school's still getting money for him.
yeah. Well, he doesn't
Homebound or
fit in.
homeschool would be his parents would have to foot his education.
Well, he doesn't fit in socially. He's he's a little bit different, and but here's what I identify with this kid. And I identify with this kid. He gets on people's nerves a lot, sometimes, but it's because of the way that he has responded to the rejection and the bullying that initially began, and he was a 15-year-old kid when it started, and he had been isolated, he had been rejected, he had been kind of put into this box of the weird kid, in town.
Well,
And then they would start picking on him, because he chose to take pictures in town and do little videos and stuff. But they made him out to be a peeping Tom, or
and that's what I'm saying. Like, he had no malice at all, no
no.
ill intent whatsoever. And
Mm-mm.
if you talk to the kid for 5-10 minutes, you'd know that.
Yeah.
But it kind of bothered me a little bit with some of the treatment, and one of the last times, I think, I think I saw him kind of saying, was there a video one time, maybe at a store or something? Somebody confronted him or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember, and he kind of stood up for himself. I thought, like, I'm kind of, but I'm an advocate for kids, and it just, I don't
Mm,
know. It bothered me the way he was being treated over that, everything. But neither here nor
yeah.
there. Um,
But
any other? Go ahead.
I think that that's why the Lord let me go through it too, because I'm not very easily intimidated. Now he ain't neither, that kid ain't neither, but he's still a child, and he's tried to learn how to respond and fight back, kind of, and people don't like how he,
Well,
and I understand, sometimes the response can get a little bit like, whoa, wait a minute, this is escalating and it's getting very uncomfortable.
and I can't remember. Was it a trick or treat where
Yeah.
somebody confronted him or something? A trick or treat?
I mean, they've pulled guns on him. They
Yeah, it's
have
like
threatened his life. They've threatened to shoot him for just walking on a back street during trick or treat.
that's what I'm saying. It was that back street's the one I remember,
Yeah.
and I almost kind of like wanted just to drive there, and it seems like they know, and you cannot be
Mhm.
easily intimidated. But if adults keep coming up with you pushing pushing that, you're going to get scared at some point in time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
um, what
Well,
time are
who's
you doing
to
your
say?
show? What time are you doing your show?
It's 9:30. Wait, as soon as we get off here.
Okay. Well, I won't keep you long then. But any other cases that that you're going to be focusing on, so I
Well,
can write these down, so I can do.
yeah, the Siders case,
Oh, the
buddy.
Ohio 16 kids. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, man. And that crash case, the one that you
Nicholas County.
which kid was it that you were?
Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, you can say their names.
Okay.
They've been identified, I think.
Okay. He was the victim, Gage Gauntz.
Okay.
And he was the one supposedly that was, I guess, in the passenger seat up front. And I didn't know this, but the driver supposedly tried to accuse him
Yeah. They
of being
said
the
that
driver.
the driver grabbed him and tried to pull him over into the driver's seat.
And but
We're we're going to be covering that case. I've reached out to some of the family. So, but I
yeah,
want to wait until we have more, correct information. I don't want to just go.
right. Well, and that's the thing too, though. Sometimes you don't really know what information you're gathering, if it's correct or not. But
Yep.
are you familiar with the case? It's in Robertson County. It's the smallest county in the state of Kentucky. There's a girl by the name of Toralina Fields. She's the one that killed her mom and cut her up and cooked her on the pot in the stove. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, I remember
Okay.
hearing it.
Yeah, because she's in jail here and close to here, and they tried to say she was criminally insane, but I guess they had her tested, kind of like I guess with Mickey, how they had an expert come in, but she's been found able to stand trial, competent to stand trial.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that county that happened in, it's less than 1,100 people, K through 12 in the school, probably a lot similar to Jenkins, and it's just like, I've not heard much about it. Like, I don't know. Obviously, that trial probably won't be streamed or televised, but it also was one that caught a lot of attention too, just from the satanic, because I coached that girl in high school. She came to practice for one day, and I guess we'd ran so much that one day she didn't come back. She didn't come back. So, but yeah, that was kind of a rough situation. But the Siders case, real quick. What's your take on that?
At first, I really wanted to. We were very compassionate. We tried to, really support them. We did on my channel until all this sex stuff came out, man, and that just changes the landscape of it all. I'm I'm surprised, but I know that I shouldn't be. You know, this is
Well,
a this is an interfamily. It shows you the culture inside that family.
well, and I not going to lie, like I watched the one of the videos, and I don't remember which channel it was on YouTube, where they were basically coming out of the van and they were going into the police station maybe, and like there's just something that told me kind of that the daughter wasn't saying everything, or I guess the mom of the children.
Hmm.
You know, she just looked like she had more to tell, but was afraid to tell because the other people in her family were still there. Like they were right there as they were questioning her. They didn't take her back or whatever. But I just felt like maybe I haven't heard the latest. Then are you saying that like abuse
Do
with
what?
or with you said the latest with the sex stuff was like abuse?
Well, there've been a
Her,
whole bunch of indictments, so they've all been indicted.
I saw that.
Elizabeth and Gary, and then so it ended up being three different sex abuse investigations going on. And there are a couple of cousins that have been indicted, and then there is Gary Jr.'s brother-in-law ex-brother-in-law has
Right.
been indicted, and then his son has been indicted, and it looks like Gary Jr. has impregnated his niece. And that's why they were there in the first place, was to get his DNA so they could test it against a whole baby, a whole
Jeez.
child.
Um. So is she the mom, like the daughter or whatever? Is she the mom of all 16 of those kids? And she's
Yeah,
what, 33?
yeah. And I went on Gavin's show the other night, and something that kind of dawned on, or something that I thought to ask was, could they have been having these babies intentionally to produce victims?
Mm.
No, we
Very
didn't
good.
think of
Well,
that.
how old was the oldest?
18. The oldest was 18, and the youngest was 18 months. Twins.
Wow.
And all in between there. And so, I have also asked, where were they getting busy at?
Well,
Like they getting busy right there in the bedroom there
well,
in front of everybody, because that's what it looks
I was
like
gonna
to
say I
me.
saw the inside of that house,
So
but what about like did and I may have heard this before, but I can't remember. Like, did they not attend school?
mm-mm. they
How did they get by with that? Say they're homeschooling?
they tried that with homeschool, but then the homeschool people called on them and reported them and said that they weren't even doing their homeschool work. So then they took off. It seems like they went on the run. They had them an open case with CPS.
Right.
And then all that truancy stuff started. And I think that that's when they got scared. I think that they knew that they were on borrowed time, and it was only a matter of time before they were going to end up taking the kids from them. And I think that that's when they went on the run. That's when they kind of went into hiding, and they went and started living with Gary Sr. and his mom, Christina.
I don't really understand how, like, that the lady that was giving birth to these 16 kids, how she stayed alive. Like, that could, I mean, was she giving birth right there in the house?
I think they said like half of them were born in the hospital, but I don't know where the other half were born. They could have all been born in the hospital for all I know.
Oh, so much incest in this part of this was actually in Ohio. Old Wildcat of the Mountains.
But it was right there in that, it was in the southeastern
Yeah.
part of Ohio. And that right there is that Appalachian line. The Appalachian line kind of goes down through there. And people really fussed at me whenever I said this was poverty. We see this kind of poverty here in the hollers, all over the place. Every few houses you might see something like
Well,
that.
and that's probably something that, like I just remember it was maybe COVID. It might have been 21 maybe or 22. I'm trying to think. We had just started playing basketball again in the school systems, but we played at Buckhorn, which I
Oh,
think is Perry County, right?
yeah,
Um,
we play them.
okay. We were from a very small school, and it was like kind of rural, wasn't
Yeah.
and less fortunate kids. And the situation that the kids in that I was coaching was still 10 times better than some of the things we saw in Perry County.
Oh,
And my
yeah.
kids were kind of like, you can't tell me somebody lives there, coach. And I said, well, there's a car there, there's light. I mean, it's like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah, the next time you all want to sit and complain about how bad you all have it, realize that you all have it better than most people your age probably. Um,
So
so I
true.
can totally understand with what you're saying, but just in that situation there just seems like to me, if she was able to have 16 kids from anywhere from the span of 18 to 18 months, seems like somebody could have been on this case a little sooner, couldn't they have?
Well, she wasn't having. You'd think so.
Well, I mean,
She
I'm just
she she wasn't having any kind of prenatal care for those babies, so she
so.
didn't.
So have they talked to the 18-year-olds? Do you know? I mean, I'm sure they have, but has it been out there? Have you seen anything? I'm just
Yeah,
curious to like what their education level's like. That's what I figured. Like,
a
I mean,
big goose egg. They say that they can't read or write, and they don't even know how to spell their name. And then you've got the other side of the argument saying, yeah, but they're all over social media and they're this and that. Well, think about it. You don't have to know how to read or
you can
write.
talk to your phone.
You can talk to your phone. It's got type, it'll type it all for you. Um,
Yeah, voice to
so,
text or um,
hmm
yeah, that's gonna be another one of those sad ones. Kind of like anytime there's kids involved, they tug at my heartstrings. Like the Lindsay Clancy one's been tough for me. Um, I'm glad that the closing arguments have been said. I expect the jury to deliberate for a while. I don't think if there's any moms at all that are on the jury, which I'm sure there are, I'm sure that was maybe some of the defensive strategy and jury selection. I don't think they'll ever find 12 that'll find her guilty, nor do I think they'll find 12 that'll say she's not guilty. I think it'll be a hung jury. And if it's a hung jury, I hope to gosh they don't have to sit through that again.
yeah, yeah. Well,
I
did
mean,
you not?
because
Did you see that there's a whole fraction of men who have broke up with their girlfriends because they have showed so much support for Lindsay Clancy because they've said that they could never marry or have kids with someone who. I mean, it's like a whole thing.
Well, see, and here's my take. I've been in arguments with people online. I've been in arguments with, and I've seen some people in the chat. Somebody was asking about it earlier, and I usually disagree with a lot of the people in my chat. Just and not on purpose. We just don't see things, but we've got a pretty good chat or community to where we can disagree
Yeah,
civilly. But like with Lindsay Clancy, um, I firmly believe she was going through something.
yeah,
But it's not what people don't realize is she's admitted to killing those kids. She's
mhm,
never going to see the light of day. I don't think, unless for some reason, I saw where they did add a manslaughter to the list of charges. If somehow she were to be found guilty, maybe manslaughter, maybe, but that'd be three counts. But if she's found not criminally responsible for the act of those children, I truly, she's going to be in a mental hospital the rest of her life. And a lot of the ones they're mentioning, I've had some people on some of the chats say, not this chat here, but just like other content creators that are covering the case, basically saying that the mental hospital that they keep referring to in the trial, that it's like no spa, like it's not like roses, like it would be rough too.
Yeah. Yeah. Most of them are, but they're not much different than a prison.
Yeah, Holly's one of the ones who me and Holly discuss true crime a lot. She's from Richmond, Kentucky, but we've talked recently just about some of the cases going on, and we were watching the Lindsay Clancy stuff the other day and talking about it back and forth, and maybe I'm just different, but I just don't, with the way the evidence was presented and some of the stuff that I just don't see where they could find her criminally responsible with the medications. But then again, there's part of me that says also she was able to do other things. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, it is. Listen, I think she was completely over medicated. I think that we learned so much from the opioid crisis of 20 years ago, 25 years ago. We learned about that's when they put the Casper system in. The Casper system is supposed to catch doctor shoppers and people who are being over medicated. What about her pharmacist? Did her pharmacist not see these? My pharmacist is always asking me stuff, and I live in such a small, like we know each other on a first name basis and everything. Like but even if we didn't, I'm sure that I'm not the only one that they do that for. They do that with everybody. They notice if they've put you on a new medicine.
I just wonder if, because I do think she was reaching out for help. I wonder if they just felt like she was just becoming a bother, and they maybe didn't have some of the answers that she needed or was looking for, so they just kept doping her up. I don't know. I really don't. But, to hear the prosecuting attorneys as well as, like you mentioned, there's this small group of people that, broke up with their significant other because of whatever reason. Well, there's also that other group of people that, on the other side of it, they're saying like, she's a nurse. She didn't really try to commit suicide, because if she would have tried to commit suicide, she would have known how to do it. Well, she's paralyzed for the rest of her life. That's pretty significant if you ask me.
Yeah. And she was out of her mind. She wasn't thinking right. She couldn't have been thinking. It's like Mickey Stines. It's just like psychosis is not only apply, that word doesn't apply just in one situation. Any kind of thing that gets you out of your head is psychosis, whether it's drug induced, whether it's lack of sleep, whether it's whatever, for whatever reason. All of these people were in some form of a psychosis.
Well, Holly mentions that Tufts, who was their doctor or whatever, never saw her in person. And I think, the defense attorney, Kevin Reddington, did a remarkable job of cross-examining her to kind of, and I think if you watch the cross-examination of just her, you realize, I don't know if that lady will be able to find a job, be able to keep a job. If I was a pharmacy, I don't know if I'd hire her due to the, maybe the liability that comes along with her. But
yes,
somebody sent me, and I don't know who it was, but like a lot of the pictures and things weren't showed in trial. Somebody sent me a folder that had all the pictures and stuff, and it's just.
Will you send it to me?
Yeah, I will.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's just
sad, ain't it?
It is. It's sad, and I don't know.
I don't think that
her three little kids are the ultimate victims.
I don't think her husband had anything to do with it either.
I don't either. I absolutely don't. Now you're gonna find a group out there that thinks He
They
did.
do. Yeah, I
Um,
know. There's a
but,
big,
here's what I'm thinking.
and
You
it's
can't
growing.
tell me that the defense attorney, as aggressive as he was, if he didn't think for 1 second that Patrick Clancy had something to do with it, he wouldn't expose that to where his client would maybe see the light of day.
Yeah.
He would, but you know what? A lot of people are saying um, that that's the reason him and his family kind of backed her on the stand, was because they know he did it, and if they support her, they're not going to look into him. They're not. There's no way he had anything to do with that.
Yeah.
I'm not buying that one bit.
Me neither.
But and it's always in our nature nowadays to question everything, because so many of our law enforcement, so many of our, are skeptic or are sketchy or corrupt.
Liars.
And that's the one thing that YouTube has probably done for me in watching all these cases, is to made me realize that, yeah, there are good cops. There are, but there's also bad ones. And sometimes the good ones get a bad name because of how bad the bad ones are.
Yeah.
But I'll let you go so you're not up all night. I know you'll be up till midnight or so now. But listen, I couldn't thank you enough for coming on. I do appreciate it. I could talk trials and court with you all day long, and maybe we'll do this again sometime. I absolutely enjoy it.
I'd love to.
Absolutely.
Please.
Absolutely, I will. But, thank you, guys. If you haven't yet, make sure you go over and give her a subscribe. And if you want to follow more of these cases, she's got tons and tons of videos, and she does a nightly show. So that's what I do every night. Usually, well, sometimes you're earlier than this. I've probably kept you up a little bit later than normal. But Crash, if you're on here, Captain Crash is one of the guys that's loyal to our chat, and he absolutely loved your accent. He said he wanted to be your friend. When none of those other people at the courthouse wanted to be your friend, he said he would. But he absolutely loves your accent. And Crash, I'm going to tell you now, you need to go over to her show and listen to her mom. Sweet Tater, you'll really enjoy hers too.
Oh, yeah. Mommy, she's something. And she'll get on there and sing sometimes for us.
Plays her instrument and sings. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, Elizabeth, thank you. I appreciate your time, and I'm sure I'll be in touch. And I'll send you that folder once I get time.
All right, honey. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Appreciate you. Bye. Man, guys, if you all haven't done it yet, be sure to go over to YouTube. I put the link in the chat. Be sure to go over and subscribe to Elizabeth's show. 27,000 subscribers. She's obviously doing it right. She's built this show from the ground up. Obviously, having that trial there in her backyard would definitely help her a lot, but it looks like they're going to do a change of venue, which I hate for not only Elizabeth, but hate for the people of Letcher County. But she does a really, 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 really good job. And like I said, if you like true crime, she focuses on a lot of the cases in Kentucky, but if some reason, in Kentucky, but she does cover like the Siders, they're in Ohio, she'll cover that. She's going to the one in Carlisle with the car accident that took the lives of one of my former students. I was glad to hear she's going to cover that. I meant to ask her. I meant to ask her a lot about Bardstown, with Nick and Brooks Houck now, the Crystal Rogers case. I wanted to ask her about that because I know she knows quite a bit about that as well. Because I noticed there where, they just added perjury to Brooks Houck's brother for him lying on the stand. But, to be quite honest with you, thank you guys for, I'm not done yet, but I thank you guys for listening to Elizabeth. Like I said, I appreciate you all coming to listen to her. I would like to do a lot more true crime stuff on here, and maybe, when football or basketball's down, that's something we can add. I'm going to focus on football on Tuesday and probably Thursday because we got Youngstown State coming up. Yes, William, she said that she was going to have her show now, but it'll probably just be on her channel. You may have to log off here and log on specifically her channel. Listen, and I think Crash, honestly, and I don't know what it was. I was big into true crime, and maybe her channel just popped up, but it was right after the Judge Mullins and Mickey Stines incident. And to be quite honest with you, I've been in love ever since. But a lot of it, I think, that kind of got me in was her accent. You know, knowing she's from Kentucky, you know, it also makes me, I'm kind of strange, you know, if you're from Kentucky or you're local, I definitely try to support your shows. Marnie, thank you guys. Crystal, thank you guys. Appreciate you. Appreciate you a lot. Yeah, we'll see the viewers go down some now. They're gonna go over and watch Hillbilly Crime. She's going to talk about, you know, they're talking about Elizabeth's accent. Some of my chat thinks Elizabeth has an accent. Florida State football, and that kind of kills me, honestly, Clyde, because if you remember, they used to be really, really good. But, you know, see ya, Wolfie. Whoa, have a good one. William, have a good one. We're not talking about the Cubbies. Come on, we're not talking about them. But no, I saw where just a few short things on Kentucky. No, first of all, I didn't get to say this at the beginning because I was getting stressed out because just it seems like whenever you got something planned, technology doesn't seem to work in my favor, and I don't necessarily like that, but it's just the way it is. But thank you to Elizabeth for handling that well, and you know, I was trying to get the excuse me, I was trying to get Edge to work, trying to get Chrome to work. Oh, okay. Maybe next time you can come on there and talk to us with us. I'm fascinated by that case as well, and I hope that's another case or another trial that they stream. I'd like to see it, but I don't know if they will stream it or not. However, I saw a list of Kentucky is doing a super job on getting 27s on campus. I think we're getting C.J. Rosser in the fall. We've already got Reese Alston. Uvwo's coming on the 12th against Alabama. And there's a shooting guard, I can't remember his name, that I think's going to set up on an official visit sometime this year. Sometime in the fall, I'm sure. So Mark Pope's getting him on campus. Now he's just going to have to show that he can that makes me mad, but yeah. Well, what about the Brooks Houck? Nick Houck's the brother, right? What about Brooks Houck? He's the one that's on trial for with Crystal Rogers. See you, Philip. Nice seeing you again, man. Thanks for being here. And I think there's a lot of misinformation out there about what Greg Sankey came out with and said, you know, basically saying that they were going to follow the rules. Why would you not think they were going to abide by the rules? Just because they said that they were going to follow the court's orders does not mean that they aren't going to fight this. They're still going to fight it. And to be quite honest with you, we're not going to hear anything tomorrow. Tomorrow is where they're going to try to put in the language, I think, of the motion or order or whatever that the Texas one had in it. So we're still not going to hear anything regarding Kentucky and their roster on anything regarding Mitchell. I'd say probably for a week. So here we are. It's going to be probably Labor Day or after before we hear. And it may be before that. I don't know. Somebody asked me earlier if he was able to practice. Don't know the answer to that. I don't even know if he's in Lexington. Don't even know where he's at, or, don't know the latest deal on that. But with that being said, I guess we can always decide. Okay, Crash says he's not able to practice. Well, is he able to be in Lexington? I mean, right? Because according to the TRO, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'm done talking about it. I don't know what it's going to be. I just don't think tomorrow's going to be the final say. So until we hear the final say, I'm not going to discuss it anymore. But I do know that I did see the list of visitors that were coming on campus. So I'm assuming if that's the case, I'm assuming, excuse me, I'm tired. I'm assuming if that's the case, then Mickey, it's not just UK ball. It's not just UK. Now, UK's probably got more money to spend, but every team in the country spending 15 millions or above. Okay. So he's not enrolled yet. That makes sense. Yeah, WKRP just told us. All right. But like I said, on Thursday, I know what I was going to say. I uploaded the Wildcat urinating on the Cardinal in the T-shirt in the StayHot store. You've got about probably 2 hours or so, if that's something you're interested in. I know there were several people that said they were. I haven't really looked anything on it today, but I think you got like 2 hours left, maybe an hour and 50 minutes or so. Honestly, I'm looking right now. Actually, you have 4.5 hours left to get all the shirts at $16. So, if that's something you're interested in, all the shirts at $13. But I agree with what I think Mickey Mouse was trying to say. It was intended to be. It was intended to be NCAA amateurs, things like that. And now when when it's treated like a free agent, going to the highest bidder. Matthew Farwell, that's the that's the one with Sandra Birchmore, right? Believe me, I'll definitely be tuned into that, because you want to talk about a grooming case from the start. Getting her pregnant and that's Philip, that's what we like. That's when we wear it the most, is around the Cardinal fans. But yeah, Holly, I'm excited about that one too. Once again, that'll be a case that's in Massachusetts. It seems like now that's the only place in the country that's having criminal trials is Massachusetts. You got Lindsey Clancy, you got Kelsey Fitzsimmons, Karen Reed. Now you got Sandra Birchmore. We got to do what everybody else is doing. If not, we won't win. Everybody's doing it. Have a good night, brother. Thanks for being here. I got a chance to meet WKRP down at Big Mike's live show in Louisville. So, tomorrow is what, August 31st? So we got this coming Saturday is Youngstown State. Then we got Alabama. So we got 2 big weeks. Starting on Tuesday, I'm going to start with a scouting report of Youngstown State. Like I said, they opened up the first week with a big win. They got a really good quarterback, equivalent to the Power Five's Heisman. Oh, it's going to be packed Saturday. It's going to be packed on Saturday. I'm just going to tell you. It's going to be packed. Tell her I'm sorry, Marnie. I kept her too late. Tell her I'm sorry. I hate to keep her late. I hate to do that. My chaps enjoy listening to her so much, though. That's right, WKRP in Cincinnati. There's Jake coming in hot. There's Jake coming in hot. Yeah, Jake, do you tailgate? Or what lot you gonna be in? It's not beyond me to try to find some tickets last minute and drive down. Not beyond me to try to find some last minute tickets at a very cheap price. Shit, just show up and walk through. Somebody will just tell them you're a Kentucky fan. They'll invite you. They'll invite you. Just stop and grab a sandwich. What are they going to do? Stop in, grab a bit of barbecue. Every tailgate coming through there's got some kind of food. No, I won't buy one till somebody gets rid of it last minute. Sometimes you can find people giving away tickets. That's what I'm talking about. Trying to find people that'll give it away. Let me see if I can find something to talk about tonight for a little bit. I'm already tired. Ugh. That's what I'm afraid of, sweating asses. I don't want to sit next to you sweating my ass off. But I'll get in touch with you. I may do it. I may do it. Football wise, Philip, if you're talking football, they play Youngstown State on Saturday. And then the following Saturday, which is the 12th, they got Alabama coming to town. Alabama. Roll Tide roll. We're going to put them in the hole. Did you all see where the top 40 recruit that transferred out of Kansas, how he signed with Providence? That's a good question. To be quite honest with you, if I go, then no. But if I don't go, then I'll probably send Doug. I know I don't have much. I don't have much confidence in us beating Alabama. Although Alabama is down a little bit, we're riding high right now. It was that kid that transferred for the 27 class, I think, maybe. He just signed with Providence. They say it's going to be Dink Pate's replacement. Let me find his name. I'm looking right now. Javon Bardwell, recent Kansas decommit, has committed to Providence after he reclassed into the class of 26. So he's actually going to be playing this year. Pretty kooky Jamie James. You doing a show tonight? Pretty kooky Jamie James? Wonder if you were doing a show tonight, because I saw where your the subject of a lot of your tutoring was live, showing what she's learned. What have you seen, Philip? Tell us some of the games you've seen. Cooley don't even coach at Providence anymore. What time's your show? What time you going live? I'll be on after Turtle Boy. Well, hell, that could be 1 a.m. Some of us got to work tomorrow. She's pretty kooky Jamie James. She's from Louisville. But I'd almost bet, I don't know this, I've never asked her, but I bet she's not a Cardinal fan. I bet she's a Wildcat fan. You don't like the Cardinals, do you? Jamie, did you watch J7 crash out at the beginning of her show tonight with Kane? Neither, not a sports fan. All right, well, you're adopted as a Kentucky fan. If you say neither, then it's a Kentucky fan. Did you all see where Trey Kaufman-Wren was trying to get another year? He's already played 5. Okay. What about these are all football, Philip? Are these all football? Is who serious? There's so many conversations going on in the chat right now that I can't even keep up. Philip, good seeing you, my man. Thanks for stopping by. About TKR. I don't even know who TKR is. What have I missed? Listen. No, he was back tonight. Oh yeah, he's trying to get a 5th year, and guess who's talking to him? LSU. He was back tonight, and you need to go watch at least the first 5 minutes. Epic level crash out. Epic. What's up, Anthony? How's it going? When do your cards open up the football season? Right. No doubt about it, huh? No doubt about it. They're going to run it for a lot of people, Crash. They're going to run it for a lot of people. Just Sunday? On a Sunday? That's right. Unholy Trinity. Yeah, you have to watch the first 4 or 5 minutes. Yeah, give my like button some love. Yeah, tell him, Jamie. I haven't even checked. If you're new here, go give me a subscribe. If you're not new, go hit that like button. Ole Miss is talking to Ren. That's funny. Red-headed stepchild. I'm just tired of LSU. Just tired. Oh, Cards play Ole Miss. Damn, that's a tough first game. I don't know if Ole Miss is any good this year, but not 100% sure if they are or not, but I'll tell you what else. Did you all see where there's something else. What was that I was going to say? Something about... I don't even remember now. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Where Cutter Boley was named the starter at Arizona State. Did y'all see that? Thought that was pretty cool. Although I don't know how good Arizona State is, but Cutter's a Kentucky boy. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I don't think Ole Miss has a chance to beat Louisville. I don't think there'll be a chance. No. Louisville's going to have a pretty good football team, and I think Ole Miss is going to struggle a little bit. I just think Louisville's going to have a better team than Ole Miss. Not necessarily saying that, you know, they're that the preparation's going to be, but who you asking? Who's KP? Game by game predictions for what? Basketball, football? Who you asking? I can relate, peanut butter. I remember I'm a Reds fan. I can relate. I know exactly what that's like. I thought it was Chambliss, but he kept saying Chambers, so I thought maybe I was wrong. That's funny. Greg Sankey. Hey, let me show you what I put together. Tell me y'all ain't gonna like this. If y'all ain't at your screen, come to your screens right now. You're gonna want to see this. Right, that's what I was thinking. What are you talking about? Like, huh? Hold on, I'll tell you. Look what I put together. Isn't that great? Isn't that cute? Did you see Pat Kelsey? Wasn't that cute? The way he looked up at his daddy, Mark Pope. I thought that was great. That's what I titled it too, Father and Son. Yeah, it was, hey, he had to start running. Watch it. Watch him. He had to start running to keep up. Good stuff. Now you can see what I do when I'm bored. That is exactly what it is. It is funny. When I was sitting here making it, I made it last night about 2 a.m. I believe it was. I laughed and I giggled, but I laughed and giggled because the way he looks up at Pope and he's got that smile and his little legs start. I just thought it was great. If you if you there's something on that's exactly right. That's why I did it. That's why I made him the child, Bill, because I didn't have to. He was life size, fun size. But there's a thing on, if you go to this website, if you type in on Google, like I put it in the chat, like Y2 downloader or YT downloader, you can put in the link address and hit download, and you actually download that. You can actually download that on your computer, on your phone. I'll put it up, I don't know, sometime. Let me see. I'm looking for. Here's just the visual graphic. I wanted it to be where I wanted it to be to where he was looking up at Pope, admiring his dad. I thought that was great. I also saw where Clyde put in the chat a little bit earlier. Son, your name's not green anymore. What was I trying to say? Oh, where Clyde put in the chat something about Aaron Donald. Yeah, he signed for 1 year, $20 million. That's nuts. 1 year, $20 million. It's still, hey, I don't know. It might be something that does with the link because it still shows me that you're a member on my list here. So it may, I don't know what that black link is out to the side of your name. I doubt that. I don't think you can say too much. Y'all better hope y'all don't lose to us again. Listen, we only care about actual rivals. Teams that actually beat us every once in a while. Until you start doing that, I just don't know if we can take you all serious. I don't know if we can take you all serious. There's Paxton always coming through hot. Always coming through hot. Paxton's coming for the party. Coming for the party. Let's celebrate.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
A little bit of the bubbly. And you know, we've got to do the... Larry, my man, you can ask the chat. I've been worried about you. Glad you're here. Thanks for showing up. Appreciate you. Go Cats. That's right. Go Cats. We got football coming around, Larry. We'll start on Tuesday. I'll give you a scouting report of Youngstown. I reached out to him. Yeah, it's to be quite honest with you, I think this series here, Peanut, is kind of what has kind of propelled Stewart to Rookie of the Year. Although his offensive numbers have been a lot better than the guy from the Cardinals, but we got all kinds of subscribers and members, Brian. I don't have any idea who they are. It seems to be they're always giving memberships to people who never come over. No, I don't think Youngstown's going to beat us, but I know if we play bad, they can. Larry's bringing out all the big guns. Oh, yeah. Yeah, which I don't know if there was much question. That guy's had a hell of a year all year long, in my opinion. Look at Larry coming in firing shots, Crash. Firing shots. He said, keep on and I will tell everybody who you are. He's too much of a recluse, like the brown recluse. Like the brown recluse spider. He didn't say Youngstown State was going to win. He was basically saying the UK wasn't going to cover the spread, which I don't even know what the spread is. What is UK opened as? Anthony, do you know? Larry is staying hot. He's coming out throwing shots, throwing pot shots. UK's favored 23.5? Hey, if it was 30-something and now it's 23.5, that tells you where the money's at. Everybody's betting on Youngstown State and the points. Holy hell. I'm probably not going to take 23.5, but I definitely wouldn't. I definitely would have taken Youngstown State about 30. Is that game even on TV? Well, he doesn't know who he's giving them to when he donates. You got to remember, WKRP, I've got close to 870 subscribers. Obviously, we're not getting 870 people online every night, so they may not even be online. For example, Elizabeth's got 27,000 subscribers. You think she gets 27,000 live viewers every night? Let me look and see who he gave them to, and I'll see if I even know who they are. I know Shane Reynolds. I know Ms. Nomer. I know 4 of the 5. I don't know the... I don't know the Sunset Chills. They even took your like away. Go out and back in. It's because that black link. I'm not for sure what that is. Paxton usually does do super chats, but I put it back. Well, that's fine, but they may take it away again. Yeah, like we've only got 27 likes. We should have more than that. The trenches will be a big difference, Anthony, but I don't know, man. And of course, I know every time you read about another team, you know, you're like, man, damn, they could win the Super Bowl. And I get that, but they got some nice players at some key positions. Their quarterback's supposed to be really, really good. So a lot of it will depend on. I think that Kentucky will win. I mean, 23 points is a lot. 23.5, so you got to win by 24. UK's defense, their secondary is probably their weakest part. Linebacker secondary, from what I've read. And the other team's quarterback, and they got a nice receiver. You know, obviously Alex Safari's not playing. So we'll just have to wait and see. I think we honestly can, like Anthony said, come fourth quarter or so, we can be wearing them down. But to be quite honest with you, I don't know. I don't know. I think we can win. 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 I think we can w I'd be happy with that score. I would be happy with that score a lot. The last thing I heard was Stein wasn't happy with their offense because they turned the ball over too much. So hopefully we can cut that down. That's true. Could be 30, could be 15. You're right. Well, obviously that obviously where the money's at is going to dictate whether or not the goes up or down. All right. Yeah, if it's single digits, and hell, I might bet the house, the car, the house, and everything in it. I definitely have hope that we can beat them double digits. Man, some of us got to work tomorrow. So I'm tired. I'm going to get off YouTube. I'm going to start working on the scouting report for Youngstown State tomorrow. I will be back on here on Tuesday. The line right now is 23.5, Holly. 23.5. Kentucky favored. We've probably not been favored that much for a while. But once again, shout out to Elizabeth, Hillbilly Crime, coming on. Be sure to go like her channel. Give her a subscribe. That's the least we can do. Also, make sure you like this show. Make sure you like it. If you're new here, give me a subscribe. I'm close to 870. We're slowly but surely getting close to 1,000. I appreciate each and every one of you all. I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Until then, stay hot.
There once was a reporter named Fahrenheit who's been chasing down stories day and night with an afro so mighty and a mustache just right. He grabs his microphone and says, "Stay hot tonight." He covers the courthouse, the weather, the crime, and swears he broke Watergate 3 separate times. The rookies bring smartphones, Doug brings a pen, then tells them how news was real news back then. So when Channel 9 needs a scoop on the spot, there's only one man who can give him the shot. He's seasoned, he's stylish, he's giving all he's got. Doug Fahrenheit, old school, bold school, and always stays high.